All right. And hello, my name's Cy. I want to welcome everybody to the Rambling Film Group's first podcast episode. We're going to be talking about a lot of movies, TV shows, entertainment like that. Here's my first partner in the broadcast. His name's Chuck. Go ahead.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in for our first go around. I'd say if you see any issues or anything like that, bear with us. We're troubleshooting. We're still figuring out the best way to get content to you. But yeah, thank you for taking some time out of your day to go ahead and join us and watch and listen, however you're getting the information. And hope you enjoy everything that we have to present for you. Other team member that we have, go ahead and pass it right over to him.
Hey everybody, this is Chad, and happy to be a part of this. We're going to be covering a lot of content, and have a few laughs, have a good time. So thanks for joining.
All right. So what the purpose of this first episode is we wanted to give our audience an opportunity to get to know us, and part of that is all three of us, as you can see, none of us are in the same place right now. All three of us are isolated in our own cities, states, whatever.
I'm in Bosnia.
Bosnia. That's in Bosnia. So you see, everybody is very committed. We got people all over the place right now. And yeah, I lost my train of thought. I apologize. The Bosnia thing threw me off. I apologize. Yes. Given that Chad's in Bosnia, him and Sai haven't had the opportunity to physically meet yet. And so we were thinking, we wanted to have an opportunity. We tried to kind of get all the three of us together physically in one place. It didn't work out. We wanted to give those two the opportunity to get to know each other a little bit more. And we figured since we're already doing that, we might as well let the audience be a part of it and, see it firsthand and, get a chance to know all of us individually and as a new collective. So, without further ado, we figured the best way to do this is kind of do some interview, question, answer. And so we're going to just kind of jump in. And we will live up to our namesake. More likely than not, we'll probably ramble on about some other stuff that had nothing to do with the original question. But, yeah, again, hopefully you enjoy it because I know we're going to have a good time. Mm-hmm. So, let me see. So my first question to both of you, and then you guys can, whoever wants to answer first, go for it, and then you can come back to last. What is your favorite genre of movie?
I'll go ahead and take this one first. For me, my favorite genre of movie is comedy. I'm always down for a good laugh. I feel like just taking the pressure off of life sometimes and having that release in a movie with a couple of chuckles, man. Like there's nothing better than that. So I'll have to say that my favorite genre is definitely comedy.
Never wrong answer there. All right.
No,
definitely get that.
That's always a good one. I don't know. I think I would have to say that the more I think I get drawn to more mystery thrillers with, I don't know, dramas really get me. So I think I would have to pick, in that category range. So
nice. For me, I think I'd probably have to go with I enjoy basically everything. It's got to be sci-fi for me. I think that's the biggest draw for me. That's the thing where just like with any advertisement, whether it's a full trailer or a teaser or just a poster, can get me excited or more so just curious to see what's it about. So for me, I think I definitely have to go with sci-fi. Let me see. So my next question, because it's always so hard to ask, what's your favorite movie of all time? That's always such a difficult question. So I know I have trouble answering it. So I figured it's better to break it down with favorite movie in your favorite genre. I think that's an easier way to kind of answer that question.
Yeah.
So you take it away, you guys.
Go ahead, Si.
All right. Thanks. I guess I'll go first. I've been voluntold. But I mean, as far as my favorite movie, in comedy at least, because like Chuck mentioned, it is really hard to kind of pick just one favorite all time movie. That's really hard to buckle down for me. But as far as comedy is concerned, I would have to say Coming to America, classic Eddie Murphy movie. I know it line by line. I can watch it once a week and not get tired of it. I love that movie to death. I love it. I love that movie so much. It is a requirement for me that if I'm going to date someone, you have to find Coming to America funny, at least a little bit. Like you gotta
That's
chuck.
totally reasonable. Like if comedy's your favorite genre, and that's your favorite comedy, if someone can't like laugh at it and vibe with it, then they really don't get you probably at the same time. Like that's
Right.
a big tell. So that's a pretty smart way to kind of weed people out.
Yeah, that's my thing, and it's like you don't necessarily have to find the whole movie funny because everybody does have their own taste. But if you can watch Coming to America and not chuckle once, you have a problem.
Something's just wrong. Something's wrong with that person. If you can't there's so many different types of humor and jokes in it. If you can't find anything out of that, then there's just something up with your sense of humor. And I'm curious to see, what do you find funny? Like what kind of thing do you like to watch to get a laugh? I'd be very curious.
So what about you, Chad?
It's funny because we talked about that, and I forgot about that one with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. It's Life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's another one that I like as a comedy. I mean, but it didn't really. I mean, it wasn't even that big, but I thought it was a good one.
Yeah.
That's under the radar.
Yeah, definitely.
Underrated.
And considering it has two of maybe like the all-time funniest guys, you would think it would be higher on a lot of people's list, but it did. I think it's because there is a little bit more serious tone in it. Like it's not just comedy all the way through, that a lot of people kind of pass over it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't Bernie Mac in that movie too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a small role. That movie's pretty loaded.
That is. Yeah. So I forgot about that.
For sure.
Definitely. I think if I had to pick a drama that I would watch over and over again, probably just once a year, I would watch. I don't know. The other day, I was just thinking about The Master, so I think I would pick The Master and I would watch it every year. So.
Just so the audience and the listeners know, this guy Chad is like a certified cinephile.
Not yet.
So
not yet. You have to take a test for that, but one day.
So he's still prepping for the test, but like he's in my estimation, he's probably pretty close to being ready, honestly. But the point is, the man has seen so many things. It's so impressive that I like some of these questions. I know it's hard for him to answer. So I'm pretty surprised that you would go with The Master right now. Granted, I can't talk too much because surprise, I have not seen that one yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if Chad is the movie expert, Chuck is the movie beginner. Okay, like you will.
By comparison, probably.
You will come to find in these upcoming episodes that we do, there will be some things that are probably on your "How have you not watched that?" list, and Chuck has not watched it.
Yeah, I can admit, as a self-proclaimed film lover, my watch list is pretty trash. Like I've done a good job of going back, especially going back. I feel like I really jumped into and was all in on watching stuff probably within the last 5 years or so, and that was more geared at stuff coming out immediately.
Right.
My backlog history is just terrible, so I'm working on it.
But yeah, I know you started late, but I mean, as long as you started, I know you you have some good taste, you know.
Yes.
So,
appreciate
as long as you catch up on some stuff, you know.
Yeah.
The only complaints I have about Chuck's taste is The Office, and he refuses to watch sub anime. I don't get the big deal.
The refusal, that's first of all, that's a false. That's not accurate. The refusal to watch sub, it only goes for really only Dragon Ball properties, because that's the first thing I ever watched in terms of anime. So those voices are those American, English voices are the voices to me, and I've tried, and I just can't work with it. Well, I can't work with Goku's high-pitched feminine Japanese voice. I just can't do it. I try.
I don't know,
but it just don't feel right. It just doesn't.
It doesn't have the same rhythm to me, to dub someone's voice. Especially, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
I get that, and I'm trying to open my world to it more, be more just open-minded, be cool with it and everything. But right now, that's the one I won't budge on that one. You will never see me watch Dragon Ball subbed again. At least if I have the option to watch it, though.
Oh, and trust me, he's not lying. Dragon Ball Super's been on for 3 years. I ask him at least once every 3 months. Have you started it? And he's like, nope.
I have. I know I can actually start catching up on it, but there's just so much stuff. As you guys have already gotten a little taste of, there's so much stuff that I need to catch up on TV and film, regardless. So I got a priority list and everything like that. I will come to it and everything.
But yeah, it's all love, man. I just like messing with you about those two.
No, I got you. I deserve it. I don't deserve the Office criticism right there, though. We'll touch on that at some point. But at some point, we're gonna do a whole top comedy TV sitcom kind of list, and I will be able to defend my stance on The Office.
Wait, aren't you talking about Parks and Rec?
Yes. I was gonna say my wife Kelsey, who's a law student, will probably also join in and argue on my side. Probably better than any of us combined can argue on it. So.
Yeah. He gets the lawyer. He gets the lawyer for these arguments, and I just gotta work with myself.
Yeah, with your bad taste. Yeah, that's how it goes.
All right, so Chuck, what's your all-time favorite movie and your favorite genre?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I picked my favorite genre, sci-fi. As I think through it, most of my favorite sci-fi movies end up taking place in space, where space is a big part of it and everything. So it's almost like my favorite genre is space movies. But with that in mind, it's Interstellar.
Yeah.
That was such an experience in the theater for me, where I can't really think of another movie aside from something like, basically comic book related, where I have like a hero that I've adored for all my life, where I just come in and just watch one story that's not connected to anything else I've ever seen or read or listened to before, and just watch it start to finish, and just get completely engrossed and just completely overwhelmed and impressed by every aspect of it. Like, that's, to me, it's still like it's flawless to me. And I even try to think of, like, do I have an issue with any part of that movie? And I can't think of anything. And yeah, I just remember leaving that feeling with such a feeling of just being overwhelmed by how good something was. So that's my favorite sci-fi movie, Interstellar.
Definitely. I mean, it is a good one. But you are the first one that I've ever met who saw Interstellar. I don't know if Cy saw it, but the first time I ever met someone who saw Interstellar but never saw 2001: Space Odyssey.
I'm an anomaly, man. What can I tell you? I might have seen part of that before. Honestly, I might have seen part of it.
At least watch it once.
I will. I think it's on Netflix, right?
I think so.
I don't think it is.
No.
I thought we checked, but
oh wait, yeah, we did. It's not on there.
I think it was at one point, but
it's in the.
You know what? I'm not even touch on that right now because you guys are calling me about not watching stuff and everything. Here's part of the problem we live in nowadays. We live in a digital age, everyone, which has got all of its benefits and wonderful things to it. But at the same time, I'm not super tech savvy, and so I don't use the capabilities of online to the full extent where I don't stream and download a lot of content from online. So I get into this little situation where, someone said, you know what, I need to watch 2001: Space Odyssey. Or, you know what, before like 2 months ago, I need to catch up on, some other movies that now are maybe on Netflix. And you don't have any way to see it beforehand. There's no blockbuster.
I didn't mean to make you mad. I'm sorry.
I'm good. I just felt like I gotta let people realize, like, you know what, he's not that bad. If I think about it too, it's hard to see things. There's no way to just go rent stuff besides Redbox. Or I guess you can rent on streaming services too, but that's more expensive than it used to be.
You can rent movies
picking
on
up a DVD.
You can rent movies on Vudu. Like there's so many.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's so many ways to gain access to it that there's really no excuse. While you were talking, all I heard was womp 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 womp.
Well, the other excuse is maybe it's cheaper. There's just times where I don't feel like dropping $6.99 to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey right now. That's the other aspect with it.
I got you.
You take that as you will. That's probably still a very bad take on my part, but I'm telling the truth. Sometimes that makes that decision a little bit harder.
I already started to stack the other day. A couple days ago for each shot. I appreciate that. I have Sunshine. You're going to watch that. Mm-hmm. And then 2001. I don't know what else. But
basically, just like
The Godfather.
On the side of caution. Just throw damn near everything in that pile.
I think I will.
You can think of, Chad.
Yeah.
And we can just sit down. I'll weed through it. And more likely than not, you won't be putting too many things back that I have seen. It's probably what the truth is. So, and I'll just really take some time to power through it, because when it comes down to it, I don't have any damn excuse if the disc is sitting right there.
I mean, you are right. I mean, there's so much content now. I mean, especially the past 8 years. So much is coming out on streaming. Not just, miniseries, shows, movies are being released on the small screen. But, I mean, it's hard to keep up. But at the same time, I mean, you got to weave through the crap and find the good stuff, find the gems. But I understand it is hard because you want to watch everything.
By the way, who's watching Law and Order right now? Because all I heard was doink doink.
My bad. I just had something on in the background. I'll turn it down.
Well, I thought it was Cy because he's in the hospital, and I was like, I'll just leave the TV on. I feel bad.
My bad. All right, but it's Chuck. I gotta get arranged for this. I didn't think it was that loud. Nobody had said anything already.
You think you would just watch The Godfather and skip the Law and Order for right now?
Well, I'm sorry. I was trying to give. First off, I'm plugged in right now, so I'd have to unplug everything to go and freaking turn the thing down. So just deal with the Law and Order in the background. Everybody, apologize.
That's the soundtrack.
Law and Order, if you want to sponsor us, feel free to. For the, free publicity plug. I think it's season 16 of the original series. So.
We'll definitely, make a Law and Order segment if you guys are willing to pay. So
yeah, we have no issue doing a full show where you can just break it down. Well, I know it's only SVU nowadays, but we can break it down every week for you guys. I know. I mean, it's been on 20 years, so I know people are still watching and
everything. But. Dude, so I don't know if it's still on anymore, but I remember a couple of years ago they did a Law and Order UK version where they have the wigs and everything.
Yeah, that seems odd.
I don't know where to find it. I heard about it and I heard it's a real thing. I don't know if it's still on or not, but I need to find it because I want to watch Law and Order UK.
I'm betting it's probably not still on. I just have a feeling that didn't really catch on.
Well, I think it was more of a UK thing. It wasn't for America.
Oh, okay.
It was specifically for over there, but I just thought it was interesting because, over here, obviously, we don't do like the whole wig and dress up thing for court like they still do. So I was really curious how that would work out. So if anybody, like, if you're watching this and you know where to find that, please let me know.
Yeah, let us know.
BBC,
We will cover all Law and Order content. The original Law and Order, Criminal Intent, SVU, UK. I think there was a one season Law and Order LA thing.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Talk to us, NBC.
That's on Crackle, the Law and Order Los Angeles. The
Oh.
one season they did.
I didn't even know there was a Law and Order Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But the one you're talking about, Law and Order UK, I know it's on the BBC app.
Okay.
So,
Oh, dang. All right,
but I think you gotta pay like $5.99 for it a month. So
Oh, that's not bad.
willing to just check it out for the first episode. But,
Yeah, just a couple episodes.
yeah.
Can you guys hear the theme song right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I was curious. Because I just started hearing it and I was like, oh, dang. But yeah, anyways, again, NBC, we're giving you free publicity right now, so feel free to contact us.
Cut that check.
Yeah, for real. Let me see here.
Next.
We all answered that question. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay. What I have next? Oh, well, we already kind of started touching on this right here, but what are you most embarrassed to not have seen yet?
How about Chuck? You go first on this one.
All right, well, we'll get that out the way. Since we're already basically going through that, might as well continue it. Also, because I don't think Chad's even gonna really have an answer. So we'll see what he has to say. Well, for me, I can already feel like your guys' like proverbial like bows and arrows being drawn, ready to just fire off in my direction. And I bet you a lot of people that tune in are feel the same way. It is, only probably the most highly regarded film series of all time in the Godfather trilogy. I have not seen any one of them yet.
Not one.
Probably just probably like I told you what, I've seen a scene from it. I have seen the scene with the horse head and everything. Mm-hmm. Saw that, and I'm pretty sure that horse head was real, right?
That pretty much covers the whole movie, Chuck.
Yeah, man.
Watch that.
I know it must be like a major plot line. I'm betting like everything kind of wraps around that one scene. Like I'm sure that just sets everything. That's why people are having problems with each other. I'm sure somebody just went crazy with the horse head and it just mixed the whole family.
I mean, you're right. Ding, 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 man.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So do I still need to even watch it? Like, I mean, obviously that one event would be enough for 3 full movies. Clearly, so
right.
Yeah.
They might have, instead of calling it The Godfather, they should have called it the horse head.
The horse head. Yeah. The horse head trilogy. There you go. That's good.
Horse head trilogy.
Yeah. I like that one. I think we're onto something here. We can make our own trilogy.
Yeah. We could just do a reboot.
Yeah.
Just center everything around the horse.
The horse, yeah.
Like, where'd the horse come from? Where they breed the horse?
Right.
Let's get to know the owners of that horse.
Also,
so it just turns into a detective scene. They're trying to figure out what's the everything around this horse murder.
Basically,
this horse
we're gonna do
right.
Let's just do a Law and Order.
My thing is the horse is on that dude's property. How does he not hear somebody chopping off his horse's head? Like that's not a silent murder.
What kind of weaponry does this person have that can silently cut off a horse's head?
And it looked clean.
Now we're asking the real question.
And it looked like a clean cut too. It didn't look like it was choppy or nothing.
There's nothing hanging or whatever. It's clean. They got a lightsaber or something out here.
Yeah, they probably just shot it, then cut the head off.
Well, then how did they not hear the
gunshot
go off?
I don't know.
Well, I guess you could put a silencer on that.
Or is a horse's skull it might be too strong to just that power from a
See-
handheld, would that be enough to do the job?
See, now we're getting into CSI. We need the veterinarian CSI, so we can get this figured out.
Yeah, I think we got a real story here to work around. We can start kind of plotting that out another time. Start trying to get a pilot going, because we clearly have
The
just
next
a well of material. To draw
next
from
big
right here.
thing.
If we can get Frank from Sunny in Philadelphia to be the main detective, if we get Danny DeVito to do that, then I think that will make the show. Like, everyone will buy a ticket. Everyone.
I would say not even Danny DeVito, the actor, but Frank, the character.
Yeah, Frank, the character. Yeah.
Then, man, we're cooking with gas. Like that's a great idea. I'll have to jot that one down. Make sure we come back to it.
Oh man.
Oh man.
All right,
I
Chad.
guess we should do
So,
that.
well, anyways,
wait.
what do you guys want to answer the question?
Oh yeah. What? I can't remember the last one I said. I know I said one, didn't I? The last time we talked.
You came up with something. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, you said
It was-
you said that you watched. You hadn't. I can't remember what it was, but Chad, you said you hadn't watched it, and then you ended up watching it like a couple of months ago.
It was like a year ago. It was something that was like, I had this on my list for a bit. I was embarrassed. I hadn't seen it, and I watched it like last summer. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the documentary. It was the Hoop Dreams, or the
Oh yeah.
yeah. Like, someone told me, hey, you need to watch that, and I was like, well, I haven't seen it yet, and I was like, I'll go, and I ended up going to Barnes and Noble, and I saw it, so I bought it, and then I ended up watching it that night. But it was good. I liked it. It was good.
Since the last time we talked over that, were you able to think of anything else that could fit?
Something. I mean, I was trying to think of something that was classic, or something like gem worthy, something that everyone's talking about, or something from the past. I'm trying, I don't know.
See, I feel confident that you already hit all of that stuff.
I think so. That's why I'm, that's why I'm going deeper, Chuck.
I appreciate the effort. So
I'm in Swedish films right now, and it's getting dark, man.
I can imagine the stuff from there to be pretty dark.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I've seen one Swedish film, I think. I've seen the original Let the Right One In.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Swedish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty heavy. Well, I mean, it's the American version's pretty heavy too, but yeah.
No, I can see that.
Anyways,
Good
I
job.
understand.
Good
I've
job.
seen something. Chad, did you know I saw that one? That one's more obscure. I guess that's what I'm doing right now. Giving myself some credit, like, hey, bet you didn't think I saw that.
You skipped Godfather and went straight to that one.
Oh,
You know what? Today I'm going to watch The Godfather. No, I'm going to watch this Swedish film that everyone keeps talking about.
saw the rave.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Oh man.
But the crime genre in general is just like, I'm not big on it, so that's probably like my biggest just singular genre, where across the board, I probably haven't seen any.
What?
Crime movies, like that whole genre.
I'm surprised you watch Law and Order all the time.
Right?
I honestly do not. It just happens to be on. I just have this thing where, like, even though I'm talking, I just like always like hear something in the background, and it just ended up being Law and Order. Just how it happened.
Oh man.
Okay, so what's
What was it? The thing I'm most embarrassed that I haven't seen, right?
Yeah.
So mine, I mean, it's not as much as like I haven't seen it. Like we were talking about last time, is that I'm so far behind that I'll probably never catch up. And that would be One Piece for me, because I am into anime, and like I told you guys, there's, as far as the manga is concerned, there's like around 900 chapters, and the anime isn't that far behind. It's at probably about like 850 chapters, and the furthest I've gotten is like 250 episodes. So
So
like
yeah,
I'm not even close to where I should be.
Mhm.
And you know, it's one of those things where like I'll start it and then I'll start watching a new anime or something new in general and I'll forget what happened, so then I have to start it all over again. And it's just like
you
this.
should take notes, so you can like have like, oh, here's where we
That's
left off, and then you can actually build on it and reach the halfway milestone.
that's a good point.
And actually like keep the milestone and not, because by this point you probably would have been able to watch the whole thing a couple of times, but because you completely forget where you're at,
Right.
you have to jump all the way to the beginning again.
I mean, I don't necessarily have to. It's kind of like a habit.
Okay.
Like with Dragon Ball Z, like every once in a while, I'll just start watching it from the beginning, and so then I kind of do the same thing. It's probably a dumb idea not to do it with One Piece because there are so many episodes, and it is kind of a slow build too. So I probably could skip like the first 100 episodes.
Jeez.
I just normally I just normally don't. So my goal is my goal for this year is to get caught up to at least the dub. Like I know I prefer sub, but I at least want to get caught up to where the dubbing is for One Piece, and then go from there.
And you'd watch it dubbed from then on out?
Huh?
Are you saying you would watch it dubbed from that point if you got caught up to it?
So I'm saying I would watch up until like where the dub ends. So I think right now
Okay.
dub is at like episode in the 500s or whatever. So I want to get to that point, and then I'll just go back and watch or I'll start from there, but it'll be subbed and try and get caught up with the rest. But I at least
Okay.
want to finish the dub by the end of this year.
It's good, Chad.
There was this guy that I met, and he was we were doing the play, and he was talking to some other girl, and he didn't know what dubbing was, and I was surprised, and she was trying to explain it to him and everything, and I don't know if we should explain that to viewers right now, or am I judging too soon?
No, no.
I feel like everyone should already knows that.
I think for us probably it makes more sense because I mean you watch international movies.
Yeah.
Me and Chuck watch a little bit of anime, but for people who don't watch international stuff, or they don't watch anime, they probably wouldn't know. So yeah, I mean, when we say subbed, that means that whatever we're watching, it's in a different language, and it's subtitles basically. Is how you watch it. The audio is in the native language, but you have the English subtitles at the bottom, and then dubbing is where they redo the audio in whatever language, whether it's English or Spanish. It's just not. It's other than the original content was meant to be heard in. That's really what subbing and dubbing is. Does that sound like a good explanation? Good enough?
Yep.
I think you've covered it masterfully. Like if someone still doesn't understand it, they're just an idiot at that point, honestly.
Hey. Okay, first of all,
wow,
we're brand new. We don't want to insult, the people listening to this. I'm sorry, Chuck. We're probably gonna have to fire you because they're not idiots.
I
Okay.
kept it too real. My bad. I think I'm just salty from all the jokes about not seeing everything. Wait. The Law and Order feed coming in. My bad.
So we're firing one of the founders.
Yeah, the person
It's a good point, Chad. I'm not gonna just like roll over and let that happen.
the person whose idea it was, you're out.
Yeah,
That's a very good point. I think I could probably fight back pretty decently. I mean, my wife is in the process of becoming a lawyer, so I will take you to court in like a year and a half, basically.
We're going to court for the Rambling Film Group rights.
Yeah.
that stock is high. Didn't you see it yesterday?
Right? Yup.
Yeah.
Last time I saw something about the stock market, wasn't it like
Down like
record
26.
bottle?
It was down like 2,600 points.
People
People
lost
lost
hope.
People lost hope. That's dark. I know. I just like said, oh, people lost hope. That might have happened. So my bad. If you're a listener and you face some financial hardships due to the stocks going down, my apologies. We do not mean to make light of your situation.
That's the founder talking. You know, he wants
Yeah.
to make sure those numbers stay high.
Oh man.
That's the guy trying to get NBC to cut that check for Law and Order. That's who's talking right there.
I had to remember. This is the business that we're trying to do at the end of the day. Can't alienate any listeners.
Hey,
Well, that's why you have us.
right?
We could do whatever, really.
That's true. Okay. So, all right, I'll tone myself down. I'll be the one to rope you guys in. I won't call anybody. I didn't call anybody an idiot. I called them potentially an idiot if they didn't understand the breakdown. So there's a subtle difference there. But regardless, I'll be nicer. My bad.
You're not an idiot. You're just doing idiot things.
It's not the same. It's not the same. You can act like an idiot. It doesn't necessarily make you an idiot. Chris Pratt acts like an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot. Rob Gronkowski acts like an idiot. I think he's probably.
Look, man. Yeah. Look, man. I'm in a lot of pain over here. You can't have me cracking up like this.
So we fired one founder, killed the other founder. So there's just the white guy left.
It's just Chad rambling podcast. You'll have to recast the rest of the team and everything. Just make it your own thing.
We only made it half an episode.
we really did not make it far. We did, yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I actually have a question for you guys. I was thinking about it because we didn't really talk about it last time. But what is your guys' favorite either comic book character? It could be, regular comics or manga. If you've read any and you prefer one, what's your guys' favorite?
Okay. Well, I don't know, Chad, if you have to think about it or anything, but I know mine's like off the top of my head, bang, ready to go. I'm sure Sai already knows, and if anybody is listening already knows me too. It is all the way Superman. So Superman for me. Let's not get too contentious just yet. But Superman for me, it's like more than just my favorite like comic book hero. That's just my favorite like fictional character, and kind of DC in large part, but particularly his stories, that world. It's just my favorite kind of fictional place and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like some of my earliest memories are watching that Avengers of Lois and Clark show with like Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain from the early 90s.
Yeah.
With my parents. I can remember like hiding under covers and pretending to be like in a little ship landing. And that's one of the earliest things I can remember. So it's Superman all the way from me.
I don't know. There's so many great characters out there, but I don't know. A month ago, I saw this graphic novel, or I don't know if it is a graphic novel, but it was called Goon, and I started reading it, and it was hilarious, and it's like this big redneck guy. I don't know. It's just hilarious. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy. His name it's Goon.
Is Goon his name?
I think so, but it's called Goon. But it's pretty funny. I don't know.
I've not heard of this one. No.
Yeah, I never heard of that one. I might have to look it up though.
Yeah, look it up. Just have fun with it.
Do you want to tease the story anymore? Well, so far we just got a redneck,
right?
possibly named.
It's. I think it's during the 30s, and he's kind of like fighting back all like. I don't know. His family's like a bunch of moonshiners or something, but he's not smart enough to do that.
To make moonshine? Oh my god.
Okay, you know what? Maybe this was a bad one. Never mind.
First of all,
that's good.
first of all, my thing is how are you putting this at the top of your list? And there's so many you're not sure about the content.
Because I mean, you did ask what's your favorite.
It's because I was cracking up in the aisle. I just thought it was a funny one. I have to buy it. I'll buy it and then I'll get back to you guys.
Do you not have it? And you just like were waiting in an aisle and you came across it and gave it a glance?
Yeah, it was. It's by what is it? By Image, and what happened is that it was like, you know how they have like the actual thick, like they come out with the thick, like the first 20 or 10 comics in one.
Yeah.
Well, I started reading it. I think I got to probably like the third comic or something. But I don't know why. I was just laughing in the aisle. You know, I looked like an idiot, basically. But I just thought it was funny.
Hey, don't call yourself an idiot, okay? You're not an idiot. You're just doing idiot things.
Idiotically, possibly.
Idiotically.
That's totally different. Two very big distinctions.
Oh, man. For me, and Chuck already knows this, maybe, because I do read a lot of comics, so... but for me, my favorite has to be Batman. You know,
that's what I assumed as much.
I thought you would either think it was Batman or Goku. I figured you would think it, and those are my top two.
Okay, so I knew it was going to be either one of those. I wasn't sure it was going to be. Of course, you end up choosing Batman, which I mean, he's not my favorite character, but I was going to show him respect and everything. I'm obviously not going to just boo as you make the announcement.
You know, I was gonna say Batman, but you know, at the same time, I wanted something different and unique, and I found that in a redneck big guy with a moonshine
that you caught while you're in the aisle.
Yeah,
so I was gonna say, so it made it like a big enough impression to think of right now, but not quite big enough an impression to actually go ahead and buy it, bring it home.
I think it was like $50.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah.
All right. Point made.
Oh man.
But no, you're right. You know, I mean, but I would go with side, definitely. I mean, Batman is, you know.
He has one of the greatest villains of all time in the Joker.
Yeah.
Which I think you got to put that in that context. The fact that he is self-made. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people, especially in the DC Marvel, you know, kind of debate, compare him to Iron Man. But, you know, Iron Man built a suit, whereas Batman, he is his weapon. Like, he's not inside something that protects him. He's, you know, totally self-made. I mean, as far as like his physical gifts, obviously he was born into money, so I'm not talking about that. But you know, just the fact that he knows all this different type of kung fu and fighting styles, like that's just insane. And then, you know, when you have characters in the story like Waller, who, even though he is just a regular dude, she considers him a metahuman. Like, that says a lot, considering she works with metahumans all the time. So, and just the impact he had on me as a kid and growing up reading comics, I'd have to go with Batman.
Should we even tackle who our favorite Marvel character is?
If you guys want, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Chuck, go ahead.
I was gonna say before we touch on that.
Oh, okay.
At some point, I'm completely open and ready for a debate between Sai and even you, Chad. Since I mean, it's a tie between Batman and Goon for you, but obviously you have some love for Batman. But you know, a whole versus argument, whatever. Well, just mainly just Sai, because Sai just flat out doesn't care for him, and I'm like I feel like this need to convince him to think otherwise and to like not hate his heart, basically. So just want to throw that out.
You're talking about.
And the same goes for anybody listening.
You're talking about my hate for Superman?
Yeah. And same thing for anybody listening. If you think you've got an argument, you know, go ahead and come at me. I'm ready for it. I'll fire back.
I mean,
So-
yeah, we could definitely have that debate, one day because we've had it multiple times in text messages. So yeah, I mean, that's probably something we could do like a whole little short segment about because I just have my feeling towards Superman, and it's probably I just in the shortest terms, I would just say I feel like he's overpowered. Like, but at the same time, I get that I'm kind of hypocritical because people look at Goku that way.
That's a good. That's nice reasoning. That's pretty little
So
insight.
I will admit that I'm a little bit of a hypocrite in that way. But yeah, I just look at it and it's like, dude, how many powers do you need? Like,
it's not about that. It's not what it's about.
I mean,
it's about what do you do?
I get that aspect. But then when you also look at like his villains, like his best villain is like Lex Luthor. I mean, come on, there's really not like to me mentally, there's not really a comparison between those two.
Oh, guys, you're just giving me. You're giving me. I'll take notes. I know what I need to focus on when we have this discussion. But you guys are just so misinformed and confused. It's sad, honestly. I feel bad for you guys. It's just sad. Anyways, we'll get back on track with that Marvel question. I'm not thinking about it, honestly, and like really at this point, because I mean, I didn't grow up like reading and really watching any like Marvel cartoons, so honestly, my biggest knowledge of the characters come from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's kind of like me to answer this question. It comes out of like who I enjoy most from films so far, and in that respect, so far, it's probably been Captain America because he's probably the closest to in terms of like action and mentality. Look at that eye roll. Look at that eye roll on the camera. But yeah, he's probably the closest to Superman. So
I knew you were going to pick Captain America.
I feel like come this Thursday, it could change very quickly because right now it's just based on who we've seen most of and we've seen their character in place. But yeah, I feel like it could very easily turn to Black Panther this week because I mean, like he has an amazing presence in Civil War. So I mean, yeah, but this okay, yeah, I roll for days over here, man.
All right. Let's see. Chad, do you have like your favorite on top of your head?
I would go with Hogan.
Did you say Hogan?
Yeah, Happy Hogan, dude.
Oh, okay. I thought you said like Logan, like
Hogan.
I was like,
Hogan,
what's going on?
the driver,
okay.
the chauffeur.
All right,
I'd go with him.
that is. Yeah, I didn't expect that pick. But still, solid one.
Yeah. Okay, so I beat that one.
Mine is I don't think I can. Mine is definitely Spider-Man.
Okay.
There's so many, especially because there's so many different iterations of him. It's hard to beat that history, even though, especially when it comes to the movies, he hasn't gotten a lot of success. But as far as comic books, I don't think a lot of people realize that Spider-Man is worth more money than any other superhero, regardless of company.
It is, yeah.
And it's
Batman?
No, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, come on, they've made how many Spider-Man movies so far?
Yeah.
Not just that, but the comics, I mean, it skyrockets. And the costumes, I mean, kids want to be Spider-Man,
That's, and a lot of people don't realize that. And then, the fact that, for me, the first black superhero that I read extensively was Miles Morales. Um, so that kind of plays into that role. Seeing someone in a comic book that looks like you plays a big part into that. So definitely Spider Man. He's just one of my favorite, you know, superheroes. Period. I would kind of put him right there for me with Batman. I kind of give Batman a little bit of an extra nudge when I pick an all time favorite, but Spider Man, and he's very close for me.
He what the Miles character. What he had a different suit.
Yeah,
right?
his is black and
Isn't it more black?
yeah, his is black and red.
Oh, okay. I can't remember.
And what a lot of people don't realize with Spider-Man, at least the Peter Parker version of him, in the Marvel universe in the future, Peter is considered the greatest superhero out of everybody. Even compared to Captain America and Iron Man, he is looked at as the best superhero in Marvel in future iterations.
Yeah. Nice.
That makes sense.
It's a good one. I think. I mean, if it would, I don't know. If all joking aside, even though I like Happy, I think I'll go with Doctor Strange. I think I'll go.
Doctor Strange is a good one, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So.
That's definitely a very cool movie. I liked visually everything that they did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right.
That was my question. I just kind of thought about it the past couple of days, so I wanted to get your guys' answer as far as your favorite heroes.
Good question.
That was a good one. We got some really good information, or at least good last Chad with Goon and Hogan. I definitely thought you were pronouncing Logan wrong.
What's up?
Did you want your Ambien?
I'll probably do that in like an hour.
Okay. Let me know.
Okay.
Not yet. You can keep going. Are you good? Are you good, Si?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. Next ad. What are you most excited for this year?
I think I'm really excited for Ready Player One. I think that's what I'm excited about.
Have you read the book?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I have read the book. I was just always curious because, like, that's a whole other element for people when they haven't, read the book before. So I was just curious.
I think it'll probably help me more because I'll probably like the movie. If I don't read the book.
Potentially, yeah.
So. I don't know. Avengers. But definitely Ready Player One. I know you guys have a lot though. So.
Yeah.
Oh. I was gonna say, for me personally, I don't think I really have actually that much this year compared to how last year was. Mm-hmm. Like, by the comparison, like my anticipation stuff is like way lower. Probably overall number one most anticipated for it is going to be Infinity War because that's just as huge of an event as it's going to be. Yeah. So that'd probably be my answer.
It's in 2 parts, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or I don't know if it's in 2 parts or if just the movie would be filmed back to back.
So it is technically 2 parts. Like, it'll connect. They did say there's going to be a lot of character turnover between 3 and 4 because obviously, there's going to be. It sounds like there's going to be more than one death. I know a lot of people assume that there would probably just be one, and it would be between Cap or Tony. But it sounds like we're gonna get at least one of them, and maybe 2 other characters that die. So it will be connected. It's not. They're not calling it Infinity War Part 2 anymore because remember that's how they first announced it. It's just gonna be, Avengers 4, and they'll announce the full name later. But it is technically connected.
I'm excited. Sai, you reminded me. I don't know if it was you, Sai, or Chuck, but you reminded me about the was it the nanobites for Iron Man? Was it the nanobites?
Are you talking about the suit?
Yeah, the suit.
The bleeding edge armor.
Yeah, the bleeding edge armor. Didn't he start doing that in Iron Man 2? Is that when he started injecting himself?
So he did inject something. It wasn't necessarily the nanobites. It was more. It's like a precursor. That was the one where he could just like hold his wrist out, and his suit would come to him.
Oh, I see.
And that was actually Iron Man 3, because remember when he was locked up, and he put his wrist out, and it kept taking forever. So it was that one. That's like the precursor to Bleeding Edge. So I'm really excited to see that armor and see what it looks like.
Definitely.
I guess it's my turn. It's kind of hard for me because when we talked about this the other day, I kind of forgot about a movie that I actually am excited for. So mine's kind of like a 3-way tie. There's obviously Infinity War, especially because it's the 10-year anniversary. We've invested so much in this story that they're telling, and we're finally coming to the finish line. So I'm really excited to see how they pull that off, and also to see what direction they want to go in the future, because they are going to be introducing new heroes in Phase 4 and moving forward. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw, but who runs Marvel Studios, like the president's name?
Feige?
That's it. He said that they haven't even started discussing how they're going to put in the Fox characters. Like the next 9 movies that they have planned, I think it's 9. Like they're not even going to really plug them in. They're just gonna go ahead and do those movies, and then down the line, they'll start plugging them in after that. At least that's what he's saying now. Obviously that can change, and I wouldn't be surprised if it changed either. But I like the fact that they're not scrapping everything just because they have new characters.
I heard there's like 73 main characters.
Yeah.
In Infinity War. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, that is a ton. And another thing I'm excited for is Deadpool 2, because the first one knocked it out of the park. Ryan Reynolds is the perfect Deadpool. I think how he looked at Wolverine. Why am I drawing a blank on the actor's name?
Hugh Jackman?
Thank you. How he's the perfect Wolverine. I think that's Reynolds to Deadpool. Like I know we have the Green Lantern kind of in the back of our head with him, but I really can't and don't want to see him play another superhero other than Deadpool. I think I feel the same way about Iron Man. I feel like Tony Stark is the perfect character for that, so it'll suck to see him go. And then the third movie that I'm really excited about, that I thought about a couple days ago, is the new Ocean movie with like the all-women cast.
Ocean's 8, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks really good, and it looks like it'll be a solid story. It doesn't look like it'll be super gimmicky. It's going to be badass women pulling off a robbery. And I from what I've seen so far, it looks great. And anytime I can see Rihanna on a big screen, like, I'm totally down for that. So I'm not going to lie and say that doesn't play a role in the factor. But it's hard for me to pick just one out of those 3 that I'm more interested in watching this year.
Okay. That's good. Yeah.
I would say, yeah. The only other thing that I can think of that I already know off the top of my head that I'm pretty reasonably excited for too. It's not till the end of the year, and that's Aquaman. So that'd be the only one I'm still really excited for.
You know, I want to be excited for Aquaman. I really, really do. It's just with how DC has handled things recently, it's hard for me to get excited for that.
That is completely random, or not random. What was I gonna say? Dang. Warranted, reasonable. I think I was gonna say something like that, but it's completely warranted. I think the one thing I would say with that is because we can touch on that more at another thing, but it's pretty similar to Wonder Woman so far, where there hasn't been any negative reports coming out at all about any of the production process of it. So I think that's a big, sigh of relief that we can kind of have.
Okay.
Because at this point with Justice League, we already heard some stuff, and while they were still going through parts of production, there was already stuff you were hearing about Suicide Squad as well. So I feel like we can feel a little bit more comfortable. This was a good one. This was a good question. What were you most disappointed with last year?
Chuck, I know this one. You're extensive on this one, so you want to do this one?
Well, I really like when we talked about this last time. Because I would want to really dive in and really go for it. I'm gonna save that some of that analysis and everything for the separate DC video. But so yeah, I would pick a different one to talk about right now. But it's honestly probably a two-way tie between these movies. And it's Justice League and it's Alien Covenant. So I'll talk about Justice League at another time, but Alien Covenant. So when I was thinking, how I said, Interstellar is my favorite sci-fi movie, like that and everything like that. Prometheus is pretty high up there too. I haven't seen Alien 3 and 4. I've seen 1 and 2, and I enjoy both of those. I think they're two very different movies, but I still enjoy them. And Prometheus, it's still a very different movie from either of those.
Right.
But all the better for it. So for me, that's the high point out of all the series that I've seen. And I loved just the pure sci-fi aspect that they were going for, with just the mystery and questions that they're trying to delve into and answer. And I remember, seeing that film back in I think pretty sure it was 2012, and just really, really, really hoping that we get answers to the questions that were posed in that movie, because it was just a really fascinating thing for me. And so I was, hyped beyond belief when I heard that Alien Covenant was coming, and that it was, a direct follow-up to what had previously happened.
Right.
But when I finally ended up seeing it, it just didn't all focus on the things that I wanted to be focused on, to the point where I can objectively look at it and say, that's not a bad movie. It's not a bad sci-fi movie. And if it was completely removed from Prometheus, if Prometheus didn't exist, or if it wasn't coming directly after, I'd probably enjoy it a lot.
Yeah.
But since it did follow it up and just didn't deliver on any of the potential that I had previously seen, it really, the more I think about it, I've only watched it once, and the more I think about it, the more frustrated I get, and to the point that I don't even really feel like a big pull to try to watch it again. So yeah, that's my biggest disappointment. Tie. That is.
Okay. For me, me and Chuck kind of have this similar taste in movies. So, Justice League and Alien Covenant are my most disappointing for last year, but I would also want to throw in Episode 8 in there. it's kind of like a three-way tie for me because I
That's
loved
fair.
I loved what they did with episode 7. I love the characters that they created and how they introduced them, and even in just one film, I had I felt like I had a nice bond with those characters, and I wanted to see them progress even further. And to see how certain things were handled, as far as Ray's parents. I was really hoping to get a little bit more information on that, and then how they handled it was kind of like oh, it's really nothing. It doesn't really matter. And then I thought, Star Wars has always had great villains, whether it's Darth Vader or Darth Maul is a top villain in my opinion in movies. And for them to have such a big swing and a miss as far as Snoke is concerned, and to not add any more fear to me when it comes to Kylo Ren, it's such a big miss that it hurt me as a Star Wars fan. It really, really did hurt me to see how they progress those characters in the following episode. And then as far as Justice League, not to go too deep into it because we are going to talk about that, in its own right. To not only see the movie in theaters and be disappointed, but then, like we talked about before, stuff that you hear after the movie comes out that just kind of weighs on. It dumps on what your feeling of the movie already was, because the product could have been better.
Or at least just could have been different.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Better. I guess I wouldn't say better. Better isn't the right word to use because you haven't seen it, so you don't really know if it would be better. But it could have been very different, and it would have, to me, I think it would have been more interesting. So to see those two big swing and a misses there, with characters that I cared about, really, really hurts as a fan. So when we do talk about the DC, if I get a little emotional about that, I apologize. But you hate to see characters that you love being handled incorrectly.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
Chad, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chad. I was just saying, when we do that, you might have to handle both of those a little bit, because I feel like the same way. I feel like I could really, really go off on certain things with that one. So,
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it was Justice League was a little much, I mean, they just went with it, I guess. I mean, they just kind of just came up with an idea and they just figured it out after they, got to the set. It feels like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I don't know, it didn't feel like it was, a good crime one.
Yeah.
I felt like it'd just be more, I don't know. I think I'm just attached to Nolan's trilogy more, to see, more aliens come in, or more, beings come into this picture.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm at a medium. I didn't expect much from it, but I know you guys do, and I feel for you guys because I know you guys, you guys care about this stuff. So, I mean, I feel for anybody who, but Alien Covenant. To talk about that real quick, yeah, I love Prometheus more. So
yes, I'm doing fine.
Okay.
I'm just working.
And are you there, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay.
All right.
But Alien Covenant, I didn't hate it. Like I didn't hate it because I did see it twice. I saw it once with my brother, and then I saw it with Kim because Kim wanted to see it. But it didn't really bother me as much as a lot of other people did. but like I said, I didn't really expect much from it. But the only thing I do like is that Ridley Scott was going to do it, so I trusted him to do his thing. But I think like I'm the odd one out, really. I mean, I think the only film that really disappointed me last year was The Snowman. It was complete crap.
Oh, yeah.
Complete crap, and I was so excited about that too.
There's such a great cast on that movie.
Exactly.
So you just assume that it's going to be something,
not just
special.
They had a great director, and he did Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and it was and that's another spy crime film, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be great, but they really but I didn't know that he came in, I guess 60% into the filming because they had to replace the director who was already there.
Oh, well,
yeah. So that makes sense why it's shit.
And the rest of the disaster.
Yeah. But it did have a great cast. There was nothing wrong with the acting. It's just the story was off. It would go from one scene, and then somehow, you didn't know. It would skip. It felt like you were skipping parts. Like there was deleted scenes or something. Anyways, so that was crap. So yeah, I am the oddball out with that.
Speaking of, you mentioned it's a spy movie. And we can, if you guys want to get into this a little bit later, and talk about it more extensively, how do you guys feel about Marvel committing to actually do a Black Widow movie?
You were asking how we felt about the Black Widow movie announcement.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about that?
I can start. My thing with this is, to me, if I was going to check it out, I feel like I'd be more interested in seeing it as a Netflix series. I just don't feel like. To me, with a superhero movie, I want there to be a level of kind of special effects flair and everything that I feel like warrants a trip to the big screen. And I just don't quite feel like it'd be the case as much with the movie from her. But it's not anything about gender or anything like that. I would say I feel the same way about Hawkeye too. I don't feel like their story. I mean, of course, I haven't heard what it would be about or anything like that. But just thinking in my mind, I don't feel like a story focusing on either one of them singularly is epic or big enough to really make me feel like, oh yeah, I want to see that on the big screen.
Okay, now just to kind of get you in a different mindset about it, you said as a superhero movie, you're not really all that interested. What if instead of thinking it as a superhero movie, think of it as a sexy spy thriller, kind of like Red Sparrow? Because when you think about it, that's more so what she is. She isn't necessarily a superhero. She's one of the best spies or counter agents in the world. And I think if they were to do it, if they were to go the spy route, especially if they were to talk about what she did before joining S.H.I.E.L.D., because she was technically a villain before then. Yeah. She has a lot of interesting stories I think could be told on the big screen. I just think you have to not look at it in the mindset of it's a superhero movie. You have to look at it as it's more like a women's 007 or a Red Sparrow type of thing, not as a traditional superhero movie.
That's a pretty good point. I guess I'd have to, if that would just kind of go towards the whole idea and argument of for the genre to continue to thrive because it is its own genre, things have to evolve and just have to try new things, and we've already kind of started that trend. Whether things are more successful or not, as like Batman v Superman, Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, we started like to kind of team up, but not like a full on Avengers or Justice League, but like a mashup of characters.
Right.
Then we've got stuff with what we're just jumping into R-rated with Deadpool, and then like kind of a just nihilistic almost approach with Logan. Like, so we're starting to really kind of have subgenres in them.
Right.
So when you make that point, I guess that's just like a another step in that direction. And thinking about it that way, yeah, that definitely can work more.
Yeah, because I think I would look at it as kind of what Star Wars is doing with Solo, where it's not really a movie about the Force, but it's a heist movie. It's how you can do movies about those popular characters in that universe, but make it its own. And so, yes, in order to maybe like it, you have to put yourself in a different mindset compared to how you would watch a Captain America or a Star Wars Episode 3. It is that subgenre that you have to look at.
Yeah.
What about you, Chad?
Well, I mean, I think it'd be interesting because Black Widow and Hawkeye have a history together.
Yeah,
they did work. They did work together. So I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to watch. To see how both their stories unfold and how they were recruited.
So since you brought up Hawkeye, would you prefer the Black Widow movie to kind of have how they met and how they worked together, or would you want it to more so be focused on her?
I think it should be focused on her, but remember, she went through life and then they met.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then they worked together on some missions. I think that's how you bring Hawkeye in. I don't think Hawkeye, he doesn't really need his own movie.
Yeah.
But if you want to just, take two characters and put them in a movie, I think that's how you do it. Tell
Gotcha.
her story and then you meet up later. Because they're both assassins.
Like kind of bouncing off that, like if you kind of had Hawkeye be at most kind of what Fury was in Iron Man 2, but probably not even that much because you really want to give all the time and attention to what's her character's actual name?
Agent Romanoff.
Romanoff, yeah. If you want just like, I know you want to give her this whole attention and focus, but if you had like, even if it's more just towards the end, have him be the one that's kind of like recruiting her, or even if if he's like masked and they're coming into some sort of clash towards the end or whatever, and he gets unmasked or whatever, and that just kind of that's the lead into the next step for her journey. I think that would work pretty well. But honestly, like and again, like it's not a gender thing at all with like my feeling on this. I feel like I'd be much more interested in seeing if we're gonna see a whole film devoted to like, to me, kind of more B characters like that, for it to be them kind of like having some experiences together, because I just don't know if, nothing against the actors, but if just, I still feel a little skeptical if there can be, even in like the evolution of the genre, a strong enough story to really just capture my attention totally that way.
Okay.
Because I'm not a big spy movie person in general either. Like I think the only 007 I've ever seen in theaters, I went to see Skyfall. Well, other than that, I'll catch them on either TV or like Torrent or whatever. I'm just the spy thriller, like, there's just not really. When I think of any more other movies in the genre, that I'm like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
When you said sorry about Red Sparrow, I forgot, because last year when I saw the trailer, I was like, I thought about Romanoff. I thought about like, oh, that's her backstory right there. That had that feel.
Yeah.
For Red Sparrow.
All right. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. Yeah, I don't think any of us kind of don't want to see it because it would focus on a woman. I think.
Yeah, it's the furthest thing from like
Yeah.
this situation.
I think.
I just go ahead.
And especially with the success of Wonder Woman, I think it's shown that you can have a woman be the focal point of a movie like that, and people will still go see it. Now, comparing Black Widow to Wonder Woman is a little bit different because one obviously has a huge fan base compared to the other.
Yeah.
But if anybody who's watching or listening to this, I definitely don't want it to come across as we don't want to see it because it would be just her.
Yeah. I just just from the Marvel side of things. Well, I'm just personally, I'd be far more interested in seeing, when Captain Marvel does come out, or I'd be more interested in seeing Wanda, Scarlet Witch solo. I think her powers and what she can do with them is more interesting, and especially since there's Fox's being able to potentially be a part of it. If they kind of try to start connecting the dots that way, and she is able to kind of start uncovering her roots and stuff like that, that'd be just something more interesting to me potentially. Just because that's more the superhero movies that I am more, or just superheroes in general, I'm a bigger fan of. I like the big power spectacle kind of ones, and I already kind of revealed that with who my favorite one is.
I got you.
So that's really what it comes down to with me.
I do think the Scarlet Witch movie would be interesting now, especially since they have the rights to X-Men, because you can explore the role of her dad being Magneto, even though in Age of Ultron it was explained that her parents died. But I feel like you could still kind of work around that and maybe say, she was adopted and didn't know it, or, something along those lines, and introduce Magneto. So I think that would be cool. But yeah. Or would you prefer to see the Falcon go into the Captain America role? Because both of them have become Captain America in the comics. I'm just curious who you guys would prefer.
Happy. That's a good answer. Oh, well.
If you just answer with happy, it's always funny.
Just any Marvel question?
Yeah.
Just go with happy. Oh, wow.
I don't know. I think I would pick. That's a hard one. I don't know. I think Bucky, Winter Soldier.
I feel like I have to pick which one get the probably a richer storyline, and more to mine kind of for the actor.
Yeah.
And in that, I do feel like it would probably be Bucky, because you could have more kind of redemption and I love Matthew Mackie as Falcon and everything, but I just think an actor would have more to do in the performance of taking up that mantle with Bucky than it would be for Falcon.
I gotcha. I think for me, kind of my 2 cents on the subject, I think if Marvel wanted to replace him ASAP, have someone fill the role right away, you would go with the Falcon. But if you were willing to kind of create a story arc over a couple of movies, you would do Bucky, because there is that redemption. The public not only do the Avenger members have to trust Bucky, the government has to trust him, the citizens have to trust him, and that's not something I think you could do in just one movie. But if you were to to do Falcon, you could run that off in at the end of Avengers 4 into a solo movie for him without a problem. I would honestly prefer Bucky because I feel like the story would be richer, even though it might take a little bit longer. But it would be a great redemption story to watch uh, him become Captain America, especially being his best friend, and then he probably, obviously is gonna watch him die in battle, and then to then watch him redeem himself and become that hero. I think that would be an amazing story for Marvel to pull off.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Charles Edward Roman numeral 2. We can also find Rambling Film Group on Facebook and on Instagram.
And Twitter.
Oh, yeah, it's on Twitter, too. My bad. Side's got my back. Let's see. Chad, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter as well. CJRay90. If you have any questions or recommendations out there, we're all open to a conversation, including guests. So hopefully we can get some guests coming up in the next couple weeks. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I know a friend of mine will be on probably in the next 3 weeks. So, I hope you guys don't get bored with this and don't hate us at the end of this video.
And my name's Sai. You can follow me on Twitter at CY_ANIDE, so cyanide. As far as the Rambling Film Group, their Twitter is Ramblers_group. That way you guys can find us. It's the same for the account's Instagram. And then if you want to find me on Instagram, you can look me up with CY_ANIDE as well. But it was great talking with you guys. I think we went over some great content, had some fun, had some laughs. You guys as the fans, if you want to, when you watch this, make suggestions on the Facebook page, or however you choose to get a hold of us. Let us know what you want us to maybe talk about, or what you agree or disagree with what we're talking about. That's partly why we have this page, not just to discuss it amongst ourselves. We definitely want this to be a community where we talk amongst you, our fans, as well. But we hope you enjoyed this segment. Many more to come. And love you guys.